Hello and welcome to the Real Life Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jonathan. Remember, this is a platform where we get to engage, interact, and learn from icons, gurus, moguls, trendsetters, trailblazers, difference makers, and world changers. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm so excited because in the building, I'm seated next to one of the legends, an activist, a musician, a rapper, a dancer, Shan. You know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, he needs no introduction. Baby, how do you do that?
Super fantastic delicious Jonathan alongside B flow. Super fantastic delicious. Fire in the wire, B flow. Your desire taking you higher and higher on the Real Life Show. Chance it on.
Yes, that's how we do it, man. On the Real Life Show, I bring you the best. Now, Biffle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. Trending on social media, just dropping bombs here and there. Okay, just briefly, your upbringing. Tell me about your upbringing in 1 minute.
Okay. So I was brought up in a small town of Kabwe, Central Province. Yeah. Also in a small family. Yeah. Mainly on my mother's side. Yeah. So I had a bit of a complicated childhood in that I didn't have time to spend with my father. Yeah. So most of the time I spent it with my mother and my grandmother because of some circumstances that I can't really discuss in the media between my mother and my father. But I'm glad that my mother is my hero, you know, though she passed. She really did a great job in raising me and getting me to the point where I am today by way of instilling values. So I went to Kasanda Malombe Primary School where I did grade 1 to grade 4. Then we moved to Serenje briefly for like 3 years. In 7th grade I went back to Kabwe. Then I went to Broadway Basic School, passed with flying colors, second highest in the school. And then Kabwe Secondary School where I participated in a lot of co-curricular activities until my last year in school where I served as head boy. Then after that,
Now, you grew up a genius kid. You're a very intelligent guy.
Seems so.
As a head boy, was music the thing that you really wanted to do?
Yes. Really? So, one interesting thing about me is that I sort of planned my future. Okay. I learned earlier on that failing to plan is preparing to fail.
If you don't plan, you failed already.
Right. Like failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Yeah. So I really prepared. What I did was by the time I was in 5th or 6th grade, I was already writing down my plans and saying I want to become a successful artist. I want to go to school, but once I'm done with school, I won't work for anybody. I will just do my music. Eventually I'll open a studio. Here we are seated in our studio. I had all these plans. So even when I watched certain things happening on TV, like certain recognitions being given to certain people, I sort of prayed and prophesied that one day I'll also be recognized for whatever I'll be doing. I believe that music is great, though I just didn't know that it also had like
its downfalls.
Exactly. I didn't really know the challenges. Then also I didn't know that you can also succeed by way of having some financial gain from the music itself. Because for me, I was just merely doing it for my fun, just for fun, as well as for the passion and just trying to, spread a positive message and just express myself.
Now, since you've talked about that, let me get right into it. Is there real money in music?
Yes, there is real money in music. Only that, to be honest with you, it sits with a very small group of artists who have branded themselves very well. Okay. It would be a lie to say that every artist survives
through music.
There are many people that would want to give that impression or create that impression just for the sake of the public, but the reality is that they are not really making the money, but there are artists that make money.
Is music the only thing you do?
Yes.
So you are the few guys who are making real money in music, right?
I don't know if I said I make money myself, but with branding, with good branding, anybody can make good money in music when you position yourself well, you have a good reputation, you don't mess up your brand. You need to protect your brand and protect your name and make sure that you value it, because it's the only, your name is your capital. It's what you have to keep you going. And so you've got to protect your brand as an artist.
Great. What are some of the mistakes that you think young musicians or upcoming or even people who are already in music do that hinder them from going far?
One of them is pride.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they make their first hit, they start to feel like they're on top of the world and nobody can touch them or talk to them or advise them. Even now, in this era today, I see a lot of those that are coming up where he's got like the biggest song. I'm deliberately saying he because it's the male artists that tend to
that have these problems.
You know, so you find that the guy is, you know, big-headed. He can't seek advice from those that came before him. And before he knows it, he thinks that what he's experiencing, he's the first one to experience it. You know, but people have experienced things.
That's true.
We
Nothing new under the sun.
Exactly. you may think like, oh, I'm very handsome because every girl screams my name when they see me, but you don't know that they once screamed for Danny, they once screamed for Peterson, they once screamed for Afunika or for whoever, you know. So you may think that it's the first time it's ever happening, but it has happened before. So if only you can take some advice from those that came before, you can learn a lot. So pride is one of them. Lack of financial discipline is another one. It's one of the mistakes that a lot of artists make. A very clear example of that fact is just what we saw happening during the COVID time. Artists were so desperate for whatever little money they can get from somewhere, whether it's a politician, whether it's exactly because they didn't save. So the lack of like financial literacy, that is also one of the many mistakes there. There's the whole idea of believing that because I make money this weekend at a show, I'll have another show next weekend. So let me just blow it. Next week. So there's that mentality until one day you find that nobody's calling. You're thinking maybe next week nothing is just dry.
Awesome. What improvements would you love to see in the Zambian music at this stage?
Well, I would love to see like real structures that, you know, make up a real industry. We need like the real structures. We need to shift from an idea of, you know, artists doing this whole trial and error where they're not really sure of where they're going. We need to have structures, management. We need to have arts administrators in place. We need to have awards. You know, we need to have proper corporate endorsements, contracts, and just general understanding of the business.
But isn't companies like Kalandanya and the other guys, isn't that what they're doing, man?
Hopefully that's what they're doing. Hopefully.
Okay. Now, one of my brothers, I saw his status, and he posed with you, and the caption there was, "This is how closest you can get to Barack Obama."
Nice one. I get that a lot actually. There are times when people tease me. I meet someone, they shake my hand, they're like, I won't wash this hand because it's pretty much like I've just greeted Barack Obama.
Come on, man. How did you meet Barack Obama?
I met Barack Obama through a program called YALI, which stands for Young African Leaders Initiative. It's a signature effort of the US government to try and invest in the next generation of African leaders. I happened to be one of the 500 Africans that were selected to go for that program. Prior to that, there was another cohort in 2014, so we were the 2015 cohort. And I just happened to have the favor of the Lord on that trip that so many things happened. First of all, I had an opportunity to be in school, to go and study civic leadership in New York at Wagner College, Staten Island. Then after that, I also had an opportunity to do what they call the professional development experience, which I was also awarded by Obama. So what this means is what we call an internship, to work in an American organization that has something to do with music. So there's an organization that was founded by a rap group called The Roots. And they came up with this concept called OK Africa, which is more like a record company that tries to raise the profile of African artists on the global stage. So yeah, I worked there for a period of time just to learn how the music industry operates in America. I got to meet people like Lauryn Hill, you know, and the other opportunities that came as a result of that. You know, I'm through certain connections and networks, I found myself meeting people like Queen Latifah, Common, and so many people, you know, so I learned quite a lot. And then at the end of everything, there was what we call the presidential summit, where you go and sit in a town hall meeting where the president addresses these future leaders of Africa. And I just happened to be that person that was name checked and singled out, like, hey, Brian Wembia from Zambia. And I was like, was that? Did I just hear my name? Yeah, so that opportunity came as a result of hard work. We know where you're working hard, and then you don't really get recognition for the good work that you do, but you don't know that you're actually getting it. Like, people are observing what you're doing.
Some people are watching.
Yeah, so there was an American lady that was in Zambia who saw me at some training workshop where I just showed my passion for society without, you know, many times artists, when they're invited for things like seminars or workshops, training workshops, they start asking, what's in it for me? Nindo shitako chanyu, you know, obazani pila zingat, because of that mentality, you know. But for me, when there's an opportunity to learn, I go for it because it's for my benefit, actually. If possible, I should be the one to pay the people that are facilitating because they're giving me knowledge. So, but when it's free knowledge, I say, oh, thank you so much. Let me go there and learn more. So during such a meeting, I expressed my passion for certain things, and this lady saw me and she was like, there's a program in America called Young African Leaders Initiative. I think you would be a good fit for it. Here's a link. And I just went on the link, and when I looked at the questions, I felt like everything was meant for me. And I just, you know, effortlessly filled out my details. Next thing, I got a call from the US Embassy. Next thing, I was being told you'll be on a flight to the US. I was telling my mom over the phone, and she said, Mwana wandi, deko kusabaira. Urea kuwa America iwe. Kutuwa kwa America. Urea paferiko kusabaira nga wali wa makuli hafi. But it happened. It's just unfortunate that so my mom knew that this was going to happen, but just before it happened, she passed away. So she never really got to see how big the moment was.
And that's the reason why you dedicated that song to her?
Yes, that's the reason I wrote the song Dear Mama, because for me that song, as well as the whole Yali Obama experience, is a bittersweet story. It's got a sweet side where it's the accomplishment, like becoming the first ever African artist to be recognized on that level. And at the same time, I get other opportunities, like being the first ever African artist to headline the Dolby Theatre, the home of the Oscars, the Academy Awards. But at the same time, there is the sad side where my mom, who sacrificed so much for me, because when I tell you my story, like I said, you know, because my dad wasn't really involved in my life, my mom had to single-handedly do things. She wasn't working. She tried so many things and so many sacrifices. And to realize that she's not there in that moment where I reached like the greatest, the greatest point of my career and my life, and mom is not there, really broke me. So I spent like 3 months trying to write that song, saying I want to write this song, but you know where you're too emotional, you can't do it. Until a time where I said, okay, now I have the melody, let me do it.
Wow. Awesome. And congratulations once again for that big recognition. I mean,
thank you.
I will not emphasize, but that was huge, man.
Thank you.
You have a lot of passion for the youths.
Right.
The youths, you're the voice to the voiceless. Where did that passion come from?
That passion has always been there. If we go back to my high school days, remember I was saying I was involved in a lot of co-curricular, extracurricular activities like clubs. So I was the president for the anti-AIDS club. I was the president for the anti-drug club. I was the chief printer for the press club. I was the chief disciplinarian for the school library. I was the school head boy for Kawe Secondary. I was the head of what we called the vernacular monitoring unit, which was part of what we called the Youth Friendly Corner, the first ever Youth Friendly Corner at Kawe Secondary School. I chaired that. Wow. So I was a peer educator. So I did so many things. I was also the district anti-AIDS president for the whole Kabwe district inter-schools.
Really?
Yeah, so at district level, I was also the president. So I was involved in a lot of youth activities, mobilizing, bringing different schools together to say, guys, let's see what can we do to improve things, what lessons can we learn from each other, what lessons can we share. We would have competitions, quiz, and all these things inter-schools. So that passion has always been there to try and teach my peers, because I understand also that young people learn from fellow young people. It's much easier. Sometimes we can't really resonate with certain messages that come from a different generation because we feel they don't understand us. But if it's peer-to-peer, it really works well. So that's where the passion is coming from, is from that background.
Great. And then you speak a lot of sensitive issues sometimes. I mean, you're you're gunned down by some people. Where do you get the boldness to speak certain things that are even threatening to your life? You know, maybe addressing issues to do with politics or how some people behave, maybe leaders.
Yeah.
Where do you get that boldness from?
It's just from the realization that I'm a Zambian citizen, and you know, this country is the only one I have. Yeah. It's the only one we have. I was born here, and it's my responsibility to be able to challenge the status quo, because my whole life I have seen how things have been transitioning, and where you get to see that things are not okay, and then I'm in a position of power and influence in terms of my music and my platform. Why can't I use this to speak for other people as well? Because I come from a very difficult background. You know, things were not always good. Things were really, really tricky. There was a time I had to be selling sweets on the streets. There was a time people had to laugh at me to say, because my shoe was open in front because it's torn. There was a time someone was laughing at me because my uniform, which was supposed to be blue, turned to gray because of washing it all the time, because I just inherited it from someone else because I couldn't afford. There was a time I stopped going to school because school fees were not paid. Wow. So when you look at that background, I don't want, you know, my kids to grow up in an environment where it's not possible for them to thrive, because I have gone through that myself, and there's no need for another generation to go through it. That's true. Yeah, so it's time to fight for our nation and just demand that which is rightfully ours, and just make sure that the right things are done. And also, you know, when you interact with people, you grow up, you're an artist, you now start interacting with people on a certain level, then you find out how they think and what they do. Then you realize to say, oh, so these people that we call our leaders, on TV they sound like this, but this is what they do in the background, or this is what they talk about, their own selfish interests. What about the people out there? So it begins to eat you up, and you realize to say, oh, this system needs a bit of, you know, transformation.
Awesome. Great. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment? I know getting a recognition from Barack obviously is the biggest, but do you have another one that you feel, this, I'm proud of it?
Yeah, quite many. Well, for me, firstly, I think in terms of awards, I would say my most celebrated award was the one that I was given by ZNBC for the album Voiceless Woman. It was a recognition award for the transition from the kind of music that I was doing to music where I just wanted to speak for the people. And just getting recognition for that for me was big, because I got criticized by my colleagues before I released the album to say, this might not work, it's too serious, this won't sell, you need to go back to this, you know. So for me, taking that risk and getting recognized for it was a major thing. Becoming the first African artist to headline the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, that's another huge achievement that I think, you know, nobody can take away from me. I think launching my Dear Mama album at an embassy of the US, I made history. Nobody has ever launched an album at an embassy like that. That was a huge one. But most importantly for me, my biggest achievement is to be able to transform lives and touch lives, and know that I can even help to start a revolution that makes young people to start speaking out, because that is what is happening today. Young people are speaking out because somehow they got inspired by my courage.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a huge achievement.
Great. What would you say is your biggest failure in life, and how did you learn from it?
Interestingly, I really don't think that there's something I regard as a failure. I have obviously experienced some setbacks here and there. I have had my shortcomings, a bit of some regrets, but at the end of the day, all of them present lessons. So I would love to call them lessons. But if you ask me to say which one was one of the biggest lessons, I would say the backlash that I received when I did when we were doing the youth movement, and then I wrote a letter to State House to go and present it, but then when I was told to say I could present it in person, only to find myself in a trap, then the backlash that I received there, because I didn't plan that things were going to end up that way. I didn't know that I was going inside. I just thought I was just going to drop a letter. Then I received the call to say, actually bring it inside. But when I went inside, what I found there, pictures were taken, and then everything was misunderstood. So for me, that was a big lesson, that there's a way to do things where no matter what, you need to have evidence that you're not doing things alone. You have a team. Because even that same day, there are other people that I was with, but they were not allowed in. And now it looked like I was just alone, but there were people in the car park, but they couldn't allow them because they were not the B flows. So the interest was B flow. He was the target. So yeah, that was a big lesson, that next time if they say come in, you can't say no, I can't come in alone. I would rather come in with my team. That's what to do.
If you could speak to the 18-year-old B-Flow, what would you tell him?
I would simply tell him that saving money is a very important aspect of one's life. Because I started my music quite young, and then by the time I was like 21, I was a big artist already. So if I went back to the 18-year-old B-Flow, I would tell him to say, the moment you just start making money, that very moment, start saving part of it. Don't do it later, because I think I had to grow up a little bit for me to start saving. Then I realized that if I did this much earlier, I think I would have even been greater.
Okay. Apart from Barack, 3 people that you'd love to meet in life, dead or alive, have dinner with.
Wow.
Who are they?
Dead.
And why?
Dead Martin Luther King, because he was a revolution leader, a leader of the civil rights movement.
Great.
That's one, because those are the kind of things I love as well. That's one. Another person I would love to meet, Akon.
Okay.
Yes, I love how, he's branded himself. He's got a foundation. He's doing this power project, Lighting Up Africa project. He's got a record label. He's a producer. I like people who are enterprising and industrious, people who are smart like that. So Akon is definitely one of the people that I would love to meet and just have a conversation with. The third person, let's see. Let's see. Third person I would love to meet. Probably, I feel like I've met some of my heroes already. But the third person, maybe Angelique Kidjo.
Okay. Just
to understand her consistency, like what has it taken for her to be there all these years, from the days we used to dance to I got it, to now she's still relevant. That's amazing.
What has made you exceptional? There are a lot of guys who started music with you, a lot of musicians. Some of them are still around, some of them are, we can't hear about them.
Right.
What would you say is the secret to your consistency?
I think one of my weapons or strengths is my humility and humbleness.
Yeah, you're very humble. Humble dude.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's one of my strengths. I've learned that over the years. People say they enjoy doing things with me or listening to me because I'm humble, I'm approachable, they can interact with me. That's one of the attributes that I treasure about myself. The other secret, I think, is also perseverance. I'm the type of person that just never gives up. Awesome. Then also discipline, and most importantly, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I like that. I like that. God coming in the picture right here. Great. So, what's your favorite music apart from B-Flow's music?
Internationally, I'm a fan of Akon.
Okay.
I also love U2 because of the music they make and also what they stand for, because they do a lot of humanitarian and philanthropic work, which I also love to do. I love U2. I'm also a fan of Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
Locally, I'm a big fan of Afunika.
Awesome.
Yeah. My music background there's a lot of inspiration from Danny.
Okay.
Danny is one of my heroes locally, because of how he branded himself and also what he used his music for, like, advocating against HIV/AIDS, advocating for good behavior, way of singing songs like Kaya, Live, and the songs that he has done over the years. It's inspirational. I listen to a lot of reggae and dancehall music as well. Great. So I'm a big fan of Sean Paul. I love Busy Signal as well from Jamaica. And of course, because of my mother was a big fan of reggae. I also listened to a lot of Lucky Dube, Bob Marley, Ijaman, and Peter Tosh.
Awesome. What's your favorite meal?
Kabwari fish. Well, nshima with beef and some veggies. Yeah.
What do you do in your free time?
My free time. Well, a number of things. I love to watch movies. Yeah. I also listen to a lot of music. Yeah. But then I also love a lot of current affairs. So news, following what's happening in the news as well. It's one of the activities. Then I also love traveling. Great. So I go to, places maybe outside Zambia. My favorite place is New York.
Awesome.
In Zambia, I like going to Siavonga.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I know you're not married before. Of course, you didn't expect this interview to end without asking that question. Are you dating?
Yeah. Okay, so my marital status is single. Can we end there?
As we end the interview, my man B-Flow.
I am dating.
Great.
Now I'm dating.
Now you're dating.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It took some time, but now I am.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I'm happy. Yeah. But
I like that.
My marital status is single.
Cool.
But that doesn't mean ready to mingle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just bring myself into some trouble.
Awesome. Now, as we end the interview, what are your last words to people who would like to be like you, people that you inspire and they love what you do?
Well, I just want to tell them that if anything is possible and everything is possible. You can achieve anything. Not even the sky is the limit. If you have a dream, please protect it. Don't let anybody discourage you. There are people that will talk you into quitting because they themselves did not achieve their dreams or don't know how to achieve their dreams. So they will start making it look like it's impossible. And I know that in a country like Zambia, sometimes you don't have too many examples of successful people that can inspire you because they made their money rightfully or they're doing good things that inspire you. But you can become a role model yourself. It's also important to have mentors. If you don't have a mentor, you don't necessarily have to meet them in person. You can just start following someone and learning from them and learn how they behave and see if you can take a leaf from what they're doing. You can achieve anything. And once you achieve, please remember to also bless others because we are blessed to bless. And also remember that success is not success if it's not successive.
Wow, I need to be clapping right now. It's supposed to be a standing innovation, but ladies and gentlemen, those were flames. I could feel the fire in those words. That was massive wisdom right there. That's what we do on the Real Life Show. Thank you for watching. Keep watching the Real Life Show. Stay safe and God bless you.
You are sweeter than sugar from Mazabuka and sweeter than honey from America, addictive than ganja from Jamaica. Iwe wa isa wa sanika. B-Flow, Wagwan, it's your boy, super fantastic at the video, just B-Flow in the area. Keep watching the Real Life Show with Jonathan. Chance it on.